Dope people, they sit on ideas. They sit on gifts. But if you know God has put on your heart to do something, don't waste no time. Just do it. Live in that uncomfortable space and just do it. You can put some episodes behind the paywall. Let's say you put out 50 episodes. People listen to them. You know what? I'm going to start doing some secret guest episodes. These will be in a bundle people can get for $7. Taking some of those same episodes, transcribing them, making an ebook, thinking of some episodes that you've done, like some how-tos and different things like that, turn into like a little mini course. That's not $27, $37. Anybody who has something to say or anybody who has something to sell should have a podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Minding My Creative Business podcast, the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to earn and learn strategy, structure, and self-development all in one place. I am your co-host, ShySpeaks.
And I am your co-host, Ron Ironic Lee Jr. And today we have a phenomenal guest who is a author, a coach, a podcast host, and all around just a great person. So we want to introduce to you Jonathan Speaks Jones. Welcome.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for having me. ShySpeaks, Junior. Hey, man. Just want to let y'all know I love what y'all are doing. I was watching some of y'all's content earlier this week, and I was like, they really got something.
Yeah.
The conversation's organic, it's authentic, phenomenal guests, and y'all really are helping people who are out there who are watching and who are aspiring. Like, y'all are really giving them some insight. So, man, y'all killing it. Y'all killing it.
Thank you.
And we can only give the insight based on what the guest is giving. So we're thanking you for being here to give said insight as well. So shout out to you for wanting to, share that knowledge, because so many people. You can hoard it, keep it to yourself.
That's true.
Most definitely.
But to take time to want to share with others means a lot. I seen a quote. The quote said, "It's not enough to be free. You have to also free others."
I love that. I like that. I love that.
You gotta let that simmer.
Yeah, she always gonna give you the bars.
Yeah.
Right.
She gonna hit you with the bars, always.
That's right. So as we introduce you, Jonathan, how would you introduce yourself?
Man, I just enjoy really being a teacher. Like, honestly, because just like what y'all were saying, and as we're even learning now more and more about the wealth gap and the education gap, anything that I learn, I want to be able to teach it to others. Because at the end of the day, my legacy is going to die with me if I'm the only one who did the podcast, who wrote the book, or who spoke, or whatever. Yeah. But if we begin to teach and help others, then that legacy lives on. So, man, just a teacher, a man of faith, and a husband, and now a father of 2.
Ooh,
Okay, congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Not the 2. Oh
Right,
my
right.
gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. I so happen to know Jonathan personally as well, so I've known him before the 2.
Yeah, that's true.
So he was just the 1. He didn't have had nobody to make the 2 with.
Right.
So let's dive into the creativepreneur that you are, and how that can inspire so many other people, because you actually are drinking from 3 different creative pots, if I would say, right? So you are an author, which authors are writers, they're creative entrepreneurs. You are a coach, right? And so those are what we call shakers. They're creatives in a mover shaker kind of way. And then of course you are a host, like a podcast host, which is a media platform and outlet. So I know that you more so these days leaning into being a podcast host and teaching others how to have success with podcasts, i.e. this lovely book that we have on set. I'm just saying, get paid with podcasting, right? So you're an author. Now, prior to this book, you've written another book, and so talk to me briefly about the creative business of being an author.
Yeah, so great question. Yeah. And the creative business of being an author, I believe it starts with belief. And that belief started for me when my dad charged me $5,000 to write my first book.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
yeah.
charged you?
My dad charged me, and I paid him with student loan money, which was crazy. Because I was going through grad school, didn't even finish the program. That's a whole nother story for another day. But my dad was like, hey, son, you should write a book. And I was like, Dad, I don't think so. He was like, yeah, you should write it, because when you enter that room, then you'll have a separation factor between you and everybody else, including my professors, mind you, including my professors. So I paid him that $5,000, you know, $2,500 here, $2,500. I had a check. I wrote it out. $2,500. Yes. Shy. Yes.
Right.
And then after going through that process, because I didn't even believe that I had something to share at that point in time. So then after going through that writing process and working with him, and then he showed me the back end of what it takes to become like a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. And then that belief, and I was like, wow, okay, if I wrote the book, now I want to get this message out to more people. So then that was when I started to speak. But it all started with the belief. And then after I paid and invested, and I borrowed the belief of my father in me, then I was like, well, now I gotta get this money back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, you know, figure out and navigate that, but that's really where it started. Really believing.
Just gotta first believe. No, that's good.
So hold on, let's rewind a little bit. I wanna know more about this father of yours, right?
Okay.
What does he do? Like how? Because I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to put the pieces together. Like, why did he like? Look, you have a book to write, and not only you have a book to write, but I'm going to help you. But I'm going to charge you $5,000 for this. So, give me a little bit more background. I need more context.
So my dad, attorney Fred Jones, right? His whole thing is book brand business, right? Book brand business. That's been his thing since 2006.
Okay.
So yeah, he's been helping people with books. People been making like family heirloom type books and everything like that. So and it's interesting because working with him actually kind of furthered our relationship. We didn't have the best relationship growing up.
Okay.
But God allowed this time to not only just grow me and grow him, but strengthen our relationship together. But ultimately, I went with my dad because y'all know, just like in entrepreneurship and in business, you're going to go with people that you trust. You're going to go with people that you know better than anybody else. So I mean, it was an easy pick, and he's the one who brought the idea to me. So it just made sense.
Now, did you try to talk him down from that $5,000 price point, or you just was like, I know how my dad cut, and I ain't even going to talk him down. I'm just going to roll with it.
So I didn't even think to talk him down because, like I said, he brought me the idea.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. If he says that this is gonna work, this is my dad. He wants the best for me. He brought it here. Like, you know, let's rock with it. I didn't even try to talk him down. I should have. But what I will say, and I say this to my dad every time we talk, and like every time I see him, I'm like, Dad, I thank you, because that was the best life lesson ever.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself, and then from that point, believe in yourself. And I mean, I've made that money back by selling books over time. And, you know, just like, you know, as you have with, you know, with your products and with shirts and with albums, like y'all know, once you create something, you can reprint more, sell more,
The same thing.
and then you can get that thing back.
Yeah.
So it was a good investment.
So you believe in yourself to say, okay, if I spend $5, I can definitely make $5 back. If I got a book, how much was the book?
So the book was 20. The book was 20. I started out selling it for 20.
All right. So did you think that, okay, you know, book brand business, right? So you already knowing this from the get-go. I'm gonna have this book, we're gonna build this brand, we're gonna build this business around it. So did you think, okay, I'm gonna sell $20, $5,000 worth of $20 books, or were you thinking I'm gonna start speaking and then make the money off of speaking? How were you thinking you were gonna make? What was the belief? What did you believe? Where were you gonna make the money from?
So let me stop you there. I didn't know book brand business at this point in time.
Okay.
I didn't have book. So the only business insight that I had another coach that I worked with. His name was Kendall Ficklin, and he was the one who taught me a little bit about the speaking arena.
Yeah.
But my dad was like, if you have a book, you should set it up to where you get paid $9.97 an hour. That was always what my dad believed, $9.97 an hour. And so from having this book, then I pulled up at my alma mater, Richland. I'm like, hey, I want to speak. I was like, Jonathan, whoa, what you gonna speak about? I said, I don't know. I want to speak. I got this book. And then from that point, this lady was like, well, she saw the passion. So she said, let me connect you with this male group over here. It's a male achievement program. Shout out to Gabe Randall. And I went up there. We did 3 sessions. They bought 20 books. And then I was like, oh, so they paid me for books and they paid me to speak. So this was the start where I was like, oh wow.
Did you get the $9.97?
This is something. Well, I mean, if you put that together, you know, at least for the first hour.
Okay, so you got 1,000 up in this thing. Okay, I was trying to see if you just bust out the gate with 1,000. I'm like, wow.
Well, no.
Okay,
Didn't bust out the gate with 1,000. And then honestly, even before that, like we were talking before about Grant Skeldon, the first time I got to speak, Grant referred me somewhere, and that check was $200. But let me be all the way transparent. A month before that, first time I volunteered, $25.
Right.
That was the best $25 I made in my life. I'm like, whoa,
Right.
25, and then we jumped to that 200.
Yeah.
And then a year later, 2,300.
Yeah.
That's my $997 an hour right there, Shy.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that's it. Hey.
And that's your proof of concept, right? Where it's like, you saw that somebody was willing to pay you to speak, even though it was 25. But you was like, that 25 was probably the best $25 I ever made in my life.
It was.
Because it showed you, oh, somebody willing to pay me.
This is like, wow. This is something that I would have did for free. Like I was volunteering for free. They gave me an envelope and sitting in the car. I'm like, oh, wow.
Okay.
25. That's crazy.
200. That's good. All right. So, so we're gonna move past the author business and move into what you're writing about now, which is getting paid to with podcasting and stuff like that. But before I do that, because everybody who just eased into this episode is like, man, $25. $200, because that would went a long way back then, but $25 nowadays, just one thing of eggs,
Man, say one thing of eggs for real.
But I want to say, so like, what's your starting rate for speaking now?
Starting rate would be $5,000. Wow. 5,000 for an hour, and of course it's great if they cover travel and they cover flight and hotel and stuff like that. But 5,000.
That's where we at now. Wow. So started from $25. And this is the thing about being an entrepreneur. If you worked somewhere and they said you was worth $25 for an hour, 10 years later, you may be making $35 because they gonna give you $1 raise, $2 raise, maybe. That's what I mean? Because that's not necessarily that's not what you're worth, but this job, this particular task, this is about what this is worth, and so that's what they put in the budget for that task based on what it outputs. So but to be able to control, to go from 25 to like 5 is bananas, and that's the beauty of being a entrepreneur. That's the book side. That's the author side. For sure.
I mean, but then even the other side, like even though I know you said we leaving the author piece, I'm just going to add this on there, because even with speaking, right, one thing that I think people leave a lot of money on the table is if before they go to the location, people may agree to pay you whatever set rate, but you can also get them to buy books or buy products before you get there. So now you can bundle that up, and now you have an opportunity where you can make an extra 2,500, or you can make, you can add an extra 100 whatever books on there or whatever the thing. It's an extra 1,000, extra, depending on what the size of the audience is and what type of event it is.
And I've seen that. My brother Jason had that happened with him, where they'll have him come out and speak, and he's having them buy 100 books, 200 books. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even. As you saying it, though I've seen it, as you saying it, it's like, oh, that makes sense as a business model, right? Where it's like, you're paying me to speak, but now you're buying my product before I even get there. And then, if you really know how to do it, you can sell from the stage other products and services that you have. So that's something totally different. But,
Nah, you're right there. You're in the neighborhood. You're in the neighborhood.
So we technically was talking about the author piece, the book, but we was also talking about speaking, right, as a business as well. That's why I say you kind of represent multiple creative formats, just in one person. And so we talked about getting paid to speak, right? We're talking about the book, right? Every time I'm speaking, I'm reinforcing the book. The book is being sold as a package deal in advance. Say, hey, get this for your VIP. Everybody in VIP at this 1,000 person conference, all your VIPs are going to get this book, so they paid a little bit for that to kind of juice up VIP. And then you're like, from the stage, hey, all right, well, you weren't VIP, but what we're going to do, the book is usually 20. We're going to do the book for everybody else in here for 15. And so now everybody else who wasn't VIP get to get this book, and they get to make this, so how many books, since we still right here, we're going to move to the podcasting piece and how to get paid with podcasting, but since it's in the book, How many books would you say you sold from the time from the first book and this book combined? Like just on it, just an estimate.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's somewhere in the thousands. I need to go back and tally it up because I give away a lot of books too.
Right.
So I need to go back and tally it up somewhere, but it's definitely like in the thousands.
Thousands. Okay.
So somewhere in there. But I need to go and get them numbers up.
Okay. So we know we got the books going, and we know we've sold thousands at this point in time. Okay, but let's talk about. And we talked about the speaking as well. And so you help people with success with that as well. Now, let's talk about the podcasting. You're currently a coach, right?
For sure.
And you're coaching people on how to have success with podcasts, but that's only because you yourself have had success with podcasts. What quantified to you that this is success? Like, I'm successfully doing this. How did you know your podcast was successful?
So it would be going to like what I call like holistic monetization. Because everybody, if you ask somebody they're gonna start a YouTube channel, podcast, you say, why you want to do that? You say, I want to get it monetized, right? And this can mean different things for different people. But for me, it was just starting a podcast, which at first was Speaker Success, and then leveraging that to then replicate myself to be multiple places at once, right? And then, which led to me getting paid to speak. Then I stopped doing that one, and then I started doing a different podcast called Beyond the Ball with Jonathan Jones. And then I leveraged that podcast to get me into the door speaking at like Division I institutions like Vanderbilt and like, University of Florida with their football program. So just having, like Ron talked about earlier, just having like a model and a blueprint in that way, then I was like, okay, well, let me package this up and let me see if I can help other people. And then from that point, then I started to get paid with podcasts and community. And I got people like Coach Ed Jones, who he started his podcast, which is called the Player Development Pod. And he talks about player development, right? And this dude did a virtual summit. He said, John, I want to do a summit. I said, do it, Ed. I said, set up the Zoom and then just run it. Cool. My man generated 5 figures in sponsorships the first year. Ran it back. Did it the second year. 5 figures in sponsorship the second year. And now he's about to do his first in-person conference from this podcast. On top of the fact that he done speaking and he done coaching around it, he done had like 2 or 3 or 4 cohorts where he's raised people. So ultimately, it's just seeing the model that I've created and then teaching that model and then seeing people like Coach Ed Jones do that, or people like Dr. Miriam Smith, who, she started her podcast, Empowering New Nurses. And then from there, then she wrote a book from her podcast, and then she went and sold and made $1,000 selling books, right? So it's just seeing that this is the same model that worked for me, and this is the thing that people got to also understand about coaching. Because it worked for me, doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you, but that's why I teach people about the book piece a little bit. And if they want to go deeper, then I send them to my dad because he helped people deeper with books. Okay. But then outside of that, let's talk about speaking because that's where it's naturally going to go. Yeah. And then, I give the game there. But at the end of the day, each and every client that I've had, their success really is dependent upon the action that they take. I give the blueprint, I give my experience, I give my expertise, but your action, that's sold separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grind sold separately.
Yeah. That would come in the box. Yeah.
And that's good because a lot of times when you're working with people, they think it's just kind of like add water and stir. It's like, well, why didn't I get that result? Well, it's like, well, what did you do or what didn't you do? Yeah. Right? It's like you still have to do something. Just because I'm giving you the strategy or the blueprint, if you never implement or execute it, does not mean that it's going to come into fruition.
That part.
So no, I love that.
And then I said stir. You in there talking about? No, I need you to stir.
You got to stir.
Yeah,
you got to stir. You got to stir until it's uncomfortable, and you got to stir a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we cooking. That's I like that. That grind sold separately. You said the action sold separately.
Yeah. The grind sold separately sound better though.
Grind sold separately.
Yeah, you keep a good bar on you.
But,
or 2. Yeah.
Or 2. So anyway, okay. So we're talking about holistic monetization.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you know if it's successful. If this thing led me into another thing that became financially lucrative, and then not necessarily just financially lucrative, it it gave me impact in an arena.
Most definitely.
So like what your dad is like book brand business, you're now like podcast brand business. It's pretty much just kind of similar concept.
Sure.
So if the podcast moves you into a realm where you're able to host a conference or do some kind of in-person event or do some kind of speaking or get monetized on YouTube or any type of, so all of that is what you would consider successful.
Well, so for me, yes, but I'll go a little bit deeper.
Yes.
So I like to call it authority stacking.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, the way that I teach people to podcast is I say, well, like let's find the people that you want to connect with, and then let's pull the layers back and let's see where your expertise lies, what industry, what focus, and then from that point, we're going to talk about all things in that arena. So now when people go searching on YouTube about leadership or searching on YouTube to learn how to better connect with people, then they'll pull up somebody like a Dr. Shauna T. Sobers, who is another one of my clients who has put out a podcast on leadership. So as we're putting out this content, now people are going to view you as the authority and the expert in that space. Right. Yeah. And then as we see somebody over and over and over, then it's going to come to the point, well, if you can teach this on a podcast, well, can you teach this to my group? Right. Can you teach this at my conference? And people don't always directly make that correlation, but they have to also ask that question sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, then they hop on a call with that person. And then after that call, then you're like, oh, what are you trying to do? X, Y, Z. Yeah, we can do that. And then, that's what leads to, those potential opportunities.
Yeah. Now, in your professional opinion, who all should have a podcast?
Anybody who has something to say or anybody who has something to sell should have a podcast. Period.
Anybody who has something to say.
Yes.
Or anybody who has something to sell.
Yes.
So in essence, right, our audience, everybody that's listening to this, because they're coming here because they want to sell something. They want to monetize their creative skill set in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Sure.
So you're saying a good way to do that is through podcasting.
Most definitely. And here's why. So many people want to sell something before they've shown people that they actually have something to say, which creates a major issue because you, Shy, and myself, before we go buy something on Amazon or before we go to a restaurant, what we going to do? We're going to look at like the ratings and reviews, seeing what other people have said about this business, right? So the reason why we want people to put out the podcast is because now they're showing people their expertise. A lot of times, if we go outside and we pull random people off the street, we wouldn't know what they do, and we wouldn't know how skilled they are at it, right? We can see Steve Nash walking down the street. We know who Steve Nash is. Everybody don't know Steve Nash will give you 30 and 12 on any given day, right? Any given day. But the fact of the matter is, we've seen his body of work. So we need to see people's body of work and know that they've been stewarding this well, right? Their authority and their experience. And then from them having that experience, now they always have something to revert back to. A speaker that wants to get out there and speak. I want to speak. Nobody is going to take you up on your offer to have their audience as an experiment. What? No. And especially not going to just pay you and be like, yeah, just come in, just test it out. We'll see how it goes. No chance. People's jobs be on the line for that.
Yeah, so they're going to make them freely do that. But if you want to get paid and stuff like that, they need to know that you know how to articulate a thought and conjugate a verb and put a sentence together and actually... I play too much, but seriously, and actually really drive home a framework and get transformation, or make people feel like they can get a transformation after what you're saying. And so, so speaking of that, when you're speaking, people have to be able to, you just like go out and speak. You have to be able to pull a transformation or revelation when you speak.
Most definitely.
With podcasting, what is the outcome? What are you supposed to be able to do? Like, we know what you're supposed to do as a speaker.
Most
I need you
definitely.
to have an aha moment, or I need you to have something that you can go back and take away. I need you to have something that anchor you down.
Most definitely.
What's supposed to happen when podcasting?
So this is the part where it depends on what the people are going for.
Yeah.
Right, because at the end of the day, if you go in with a certain recipe, then you're gonna get a certain result.
Yeah.
Right. So if people are out there doing a solo podcast and they want more people to know what they're doing in their business, then they need to talk about some of the aspects that their business offers, or even some of their client success stories. Right. So that's something that people must consider on the front end. Not necessarily the middle or the back end. We got to know this going in.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want the end result to be? What do you want people to take away? When I was doing the solo podcast, I had another show. It was called Your Podcast Mentor Show. Right? I did podcast news, podcast interviews, and also just going in and sharing all things podcasting, because I want to be known for podcasting. And then that did what it did, right? It helped me begin to start a community and be able to coach people. So people need to know and understand that.
Yeah.
But for me now, the model has shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like I told you a little bit offline, I have a co-host. Her name is Brittany Lucky. Shout out to her. She does a great job. Producer Britt does an amazing job with our show, because we're live Monday through Friday. Speaking Success in the Morning. Live streaming on YouTube Monday through Friday. And we've turned it into a show now with multiple segments. So we got where I do an inspirational segment, right? I give some scripture.
Yeah.
It's called Straight from the Source. And then we have another segment with her. And then she breaks down what she saw scrolling.
Yeah.
And then we go back and forth and do different things depending on the day or depending on what the theme is. But we want people to see us as a source of inspiration, information, and leave feeling good, ready to attack the day. Right.
Yeah, so that's
just where that's where we are now, especially with me now transitioning and doing more work with individuals in terms of, like, because you check out the shirt on Speaking Success Media now.
Yeah.
Right. So working more to help more people, begin to do those same things.
Man, come on, media.
Right.
Hey, media, man.
And now that you're doing it, that show like that in the morning, that's like a format, and other people can carry that show even outside of just you and her.
Oh,
Y'all
for
can
sure.
get to Speak Your Success in the morning. All right, so let's talk about this coaching business that you're talking about. You want to be known for podcasting, and you started coaching others, is what you just said. Now, before you start coaching, I also happen to have a purview into your life, because I know you a little bit.
Yeah.
You created not just that podcast, but you created a course.
Yeah.
Right? And so did you have a coaching element with the course already, or was it just the course only?
Yeah, so the people would get access to the course, and then in addition to getting access to that course, then we'll hop on a call not Monday through Friday. We'll hop on a call every Monday at 5 p.m.
You want to know the one thing that's holding most creative entrepreneurs back? It's not the talent. It's not even the vision. It's the lack of capital. Every day I watch brilliant creatives miss life-changing opportunities simply because they can't access business funding. Traditional banks, they really don't understand creative business like that. And most lenders, well, they don't care. But guess what? That ends today with the Minding My Creative Business partnership with Credit Savant. You can access up to $150,000 in business credit. You heard correct. Up to $150,000 in business credit. They have 0% interest options with 30 plus funding programs designed for creatives just like you. So what I need you to do is visit creditsavant.io now. Tell them MMCB sent you.
Okay, so we have this course, right? We start off with, and then on Mondays they can hop on and get this coaching segment to it. So you kind of knew from the get-go that you were going to have coaching in there. Now, is your coaching model the same now, where it's just on Mondays, or have you moved to like group coaching, or are you still individual coaching? Talk to us about the coaching business of this.
For sure. So that model was group coaching, because we would hop on that call Monday at 5, and then in addition to that, they also would get access to like a separate message group. So like throughout the week, if somebody had a question, they could ask the question, drop a voice memo, and then just to be able to give that really hands-on support, because I knew that there'd be little things that would trip people up here and there. But now we've since shifted the model a little bit, and now I'm really focusing, like I told you, working with clients more so in the media business component. So on site, on location type stuff. And I actually now have allowed people to get the majority of that course actually for free now. So yeah, I have a free community. We got about like 57 people in that community. But yeah, people can go to getpaidpodcasting.com and then they get access to that community, and they get access to it's like the first 5 parts of the program, just before the monetization part. But yeah, you still got that in the back. But yeah, you get first, and people help people get their podcast up and going, and really get started.
Okay. So, and that's before you start teaching them how to monetize the podcast?
Well, yeah, then we can have another conversation.
Yeah.
Then we can have a conversation.
You got to make sure they get off the ground.
You got to get off the ground first.
Right.
You got to show me that you got some skin in the game. Because I know now, looking around the country, looking at the world, just like where we are now, people are trying to find new ways to do things, and there's a lot of information. But I want to at least give people an opportunity to be able to get into the space to where you have your podcast up and going. Yeah. And then we could talk about the monetization after the fact.
Yeah, and that, to me, once again, that sounds like lead qualifying, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm giving you these few sessions free, right? Once you show me that you're willing to put in the work and the time and the effort and energy, right? Now we can have a follow-up conversation, and now I can show you now how to take it to the next level to monetize it. But you've qualified them because they've done the work. If you ain't did this, there's no conversation to be had.
Yeah, because you're going to be consistent with what you haven't done.
Yeah.
You may pay and you'll feel good. Hey, I paid.
Yeah.
And then people start telling people, hey, I paid. But what happens after that?
Yeah.
If you haven't done nothing before, you're going to be consistent and still not doing nothing. You just paid everything.
You're going to be consistent.
And still not doing nothing.
Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to keep that up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, what are some things, so give us some quick snippets about like what's an off the ground podcast? Like, okay, you're there and we can start talking about monetization. What are some things that they should have in place?
I mean, for me, honestly, I would like to see 10 episodes. Like at least 10 episodes, because the stats typically say majority of people, there's 2 different stats. Yeah. Sometimes they'll hit, majority of people haven't done 3 episodes, or they'll hit, majority of people haven't done like the 7 or 8 episode mark. So if you give me 10 episodes and I look back and I'm like, oh, you've done this for like 2 months? Yeah. Like, okay, you're rolling. Like you're serious, or at least you're somewhat invested in it, right? So that's one area. And then after, when you get that invested in it, then I'll even start to see people start to make tweaks and changes. Like they'll start to invest time. They don't have to just directly invest. Well, I'm gonna buy the $400 mic. Right. You don't have to jump there. But like just seeing that, okay, now I want to have a little bit more structure with my show. We're not just hopping on here, just talking, shooting the breeze. Yeah. But these are things that begin to show you that, okay, people are serious about this. People are wanting to do more and invest more time into it. So that's what off the ground looks like for me. Yeah. Okay. And that's a low bar. That's a low bar. Yeah.
At least some episodes. At least a show format. Okay. Yeah. And then, do you have like? Let me ask you this. Off the top of your mind, how many monetization tools or strategies can you think of for podcasts? Like just that you know of. Like these are ways to monetize podcasts. How many?
Okay, here are a few. So one would be, so like you can put some episodes behind the paywall, right? So like, let's say you put out 300 episodes. Well, let's go. Let's say you put out 50 episodes, and then people listen to them. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing some secret guest episodes, and I'm not gonna release these to the masses, but these will be in a bundle people can get for $7, $15. So putting episodes behind a paywall, taking some of those same episodes, transcribing them, making an ebook. That's another way. Thinking of some episodes that you've done, like some how-tos and different things like that, turn into like a little mini course. That's another $27, $37, whatever. Also, of course, the speaking. I gotta go. I'm not getting away from the speaking shop. I'm not getting away from speaking. So that monetizing from YouTube. Depending on how many eyes you got, affiliate partnerships or deals. Run your own ads on your show. Run somebody else's ads on your show.
Right.
So, create a community. Like I know what y'all have got going. Create a community. These people get to see behind the scenes of y'all's podcast. They get to see post conversations of a podcast. So there's that. What else we got? Dang.
Come on, we about to have 10.
No, right there. We right there. Because I already said. Oh, I said an ebook. I mean, you can do a physical book too.
Right.
You know, that's another one. But doing that. Oh, and then coaching, consulting, because that can be a whole separate situation.
Yeah.
So there's 10, 11 off the top.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, off the top. I'm just saying, he noticed
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm sure there's more where that came from.
Yeah.
From
Most definitely.
you've been
Oh,
around
most
this for a
definitely.
long time. Okay, so let's talk about some of the structure that goes into having like a decently laid out podcast, right? So people been shooting in the dark. They've been doing it themselves,
Most
and
definitely.
you're like, okay, how can I get this together? What would you tell them as far as like, okay, here's how the best way to set your back end up, whether it's gear, flow, spreadsheet, software, tool, something. Help them streamline this. What would be some tools that you would recommend?
Okay, well, for one, if you're somebody shooting a solo podcast, right? The biggest structure that you need, and this don't cost you nothing, but you just have to set time. Like you have to make a podcast date.
Yeah.
Right. Every Friday at 7 p.m., tell the significant other, get somebody to watch the kid,
Right.
whatever. You have to set a time and make this a priority to where you can record. So people know, hey, this is the podcast time, so don't disrupt me, don't disturb me. You might think this is a hobby, you might think it's cute, but nah, we serious about this. Right? So that's the first thing. You got to get that ingrained and make sure that everybody around you that's involved, they know and understand that. But then the other part is, as you start to go a little bit further, and then I'll talk a little bit about like with guests, automating the process. Because y'all got a nice automation process. Y'all got a nice automation process. Yeah. Y'all got that thing together. Like, maybe send them directly to a link, and then after they book that time, you have a form set up to where you can get all the information that you need.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want this to be another job and doing all these little tasks.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're the type of people that need to be focused on tasks that are $3,000 or $30,000 an hour type
Right.
tasks versus like a $30 or like a $3 or $7 task.
Yeah.
So no, we want to do that. So begin to put in an automation process, and that can even look like a Google form, which is free. Have them fill out the form, and then after they fill out the form, then have a confirmation page and send them to like where they lock in the time. Right? We want to have it as low lift as possible.
Yeah.
So those are a few things. Of course, people want to get directly into the equipment, but the tip that I'll give on the equipment is master what you have first. Right, and shout out to my guy Brandon Dixon. He's out in Atlanta. He does the shooters camp, and he helps people create content, stuff like that. But y'all, he was like, do you already know how to use all the features on the camera you got now? It's like, if you don't need to get a new camera. He said, I always learn all the features before I get the camera. So when I get it, now I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's some stuff, getting people started, and then as people continue to go through, then get more so on the on the polish of it, like getting a good cover art, right? Taking a good picture of yourself, which you can get with an iPhone,
Yeah.
an iPhone or Android, and don't be shy. Put that picture of you on that cover art.
Yeah.
Put that picture of you on there, so let people see it. So. Those would be a few tips I'd say to get people started. But making sure you got a process. Okay, we're going to record on Friday. When are we putting it out?
Yeah.
Next week, it needs to be put out the same day. So we need to be consistent.
Yeah.
So, block off some time, record a couple episodes, and then just stay consistent with that structure and that flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and then we talked about, time management before on a previous episode where that's important to really lock that in, right? So that it's for you, but it's also for others as well. It's like putting those boundaries around the thing so that you can be consistent. I think a lot of times we'll start something, right? But going back to not really counting the cost, where it's like, dang, I thought I was going to have time, but it's like, no, you were up in the air with it, right? And a lot of times when you up in the air with stuff, it doesn't last. So we're talking about being consistent so that you can sustain it and you can keep it going so you can get past that 3 episodes or that 6 episodes or whatever it may be. So no, that's really good. I like that. I think that's something that you all should be listening to and take away.
And I'm also gonna throw this out there. This is probably unpopular opinion, but I really don't care. Starting out, I don't think you need to focus on editing. Starting out, the majority of people are not gonna see the first couple episodes. Just get it out there. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna make I have a stutter. I have a bad stutter. And I'll stutter on episodes. I'll stutter speaking. I don't care. I'm gonna get it out and we're gonna rock with it. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it allows yourself to be normalized. Because as you start to put out this content, people are gonna start to separate you higher than where they are.
Right.
So we have to find ways here and there to where we can normalize ourselves and close that gap. Because if you're so far, then they don't want to work with you. They can't work with you because you're unreachable.
Yeah.
But if they see, oh, you got a stutter. Oh, you normal. Oh, you got a pimple. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a real person.
Yeah.
So we can work together. We can help you. So yeah, I don't think people should, starting out, I don't want people to get overwhelmed with that editing. Hit record and just run it. And then stop it and then post it and then move on.
Okay.
Because you're going to try to edit it and you can get overwhelmed and you're just going to shut the whole thing down before you even get the opportunity to lift off.
Yeah. So listen, when it comes to podcasting, I can tell you know your stuff. So let's hop back over to coaching. If I'm somebody and I want to work with you to coach me in podcasting, what am I looking at? Like, what's my investment right now? If I need to invest in this program, I want to work with the Speak Your Success Media Group, and I want to be mentored, and I need to. What am I looking at for an investment right now? I know this may change later, but as of right now, this recording.
Yeah, so shout out. That's a loaded question. Now that's a loaded question because when people come, they come with different needs. So somebody might.
But are you not working with everybody at different needs, right? Because you said I thought you had qualified your people.
Well, no, I do have qualified people, but now so I have the group, but now I'm doing like one-on-one coaching.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm doing one. So for instance, okay, I have an aunt. Shout out to my aunt Emma. Okay, shout out to her. But when we start working together, she wanted to start a podcast. She also wanted to develop a curriculum, and she also wanted to start speaking. So we went back and forth. We talked, and the number we settled on was 7,500.
Right.
For her, and this is family.
Right.
This is family. That's my aunt. But that was what she wanted, right? So it just depends on the indivisual, what they want, and also just depending on even if I want to take them on.
Yeah.
At all.
So
just to coach.
Yeah.
So knowing that you're doing customizing
I'm
these
customizing.
coaching experiences. So books, speaking, author, curriculum, writing, blah, blah. So, okay. What's your capacity? Like, how many people can you take on in a month? Right.
How many people I could take on in a month? How many people I would take on in a month would be about like 5 if I'm working one-on-one. If I'm working one-on-one, because when I work in group, like I said, we had, I don't know how many people. I think we ended up getting that group up to, like I said, like it was like 30 people in that group. We had 30 people. They paid the investment up front. And then, we was rocking together for 6 weeks. After that 6 weeks, they got the opportunity to renew and then rock month to month.
Right.
Which is any of y'all out there, that's the way you want to go. If at all possible, if there were 2 options, you want to either get a bulk of money up front and then get somebody on what they call a continuity offer to where you already got the card hidden month after month after month. Or, you can just sell people on just a high-end product on the front end.
Yeah.
Y'all can make the choice. I'm just saying. So, that was how I was doing it. But now it's more so like I'm being selective and picking people one-to-one. Because, of course, between doing that, between having now 2 kids, having a wife, and still having those responsibilities, you got to be cognizant of time. And also just going and speaking, which, where that travel cuts in. So
listen, I want to shout you off with this whole charging your family model. Right. I love that it started with your dad and now you charging your aunt. I mean, and listen, this is the thing, right? A lot of times people don't want to charge their family, right? They see it as a negative. Well, you should just be giving it away. But it's like, wait a minute, this costs me something, right? And I'm not even charging you because
I necessarily need the money. I'm charging you because you're invested. That's one thing that I've learned. It's like when I charge people, they're more willing to do the work.
True.
So it's like you're coming to me for $7,500 worth of work. If I don't charge you that $7,500 worth of work, are you going to do it?
Yeah.
But if you do it, now you're going to do the work because you don't want to waste $7,500. You want to ROI on that. You want to make that back plus some, right? So I love that, right? I'm cut from that cloth, right? Anybody come to me, a family, I don't care who it is, right? I'm going to charge you. And it's not because, once again, I'm hurting for the money. But even that, I tell people, you should want to invest in your people because you know where the money going. Your aunt know that this money ain't just going, Jonathan ain't gonna trick it off. He got a family he's taking care of. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different mentality. So I mean, I love that, and I'm loving even that. I'm assuming your auntie did it, right?
Yeah, but it was even hard for me to charge her. I would say that because I had to call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I mean, Emma called me. I'm like, this is hard. Like, what how am I supposed to even do this?
Right.
This is tough to navigate. This is my aunt.
Right.
But he was like, hey, well, just talk with her. Just see.
Yeah.
Just had a conversation with her.
Yeah.
So I had a call with her, and she was like, nephew, just treat me like anybody else you're doing business with.
I love it.
And I was like,
I love it.
Fine. Okay, cool.
I love that.
And the thing I want to also talk about when it comes to like coaching and people paying for it, you saying they invest in themselves. People have to realize that this is my time. That I'm giving you. Not just the knowledge. This is my time.
For
right?
sure.
So if I wasn't sitting here coaching you, I could be speaking somewhere. If I wasn't sitting here coaching you, I could be creating another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If I create a podcast can be split into like 12 different little clips. So I just made so much social media content. If I wasn't sitting here coaching you, I could be spending time with my family. If I wasn't sitting here, I could be writing another curriculum. I could be writing another book. And if I write this book can make me thousands of dollars. Because one book I can sell over and over and over. So I'm giving you my time. This time is valuable.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, it's the same amount of time, whether you my cousin or whether you my, whether whoever you are, it's the same time. And there's the same trade-off cost that I'm having to give up. So if I'm training somebody who I just met, they found me online from Arizona and they liked it, I'm giving them the same time. And then you found me because me and you had the same grandmother. It's the same time. And I just feel like we have to value time in a certain way. And then also, there's a certain time that a coach has to do in preparation for getting on the call with you. So or having that time with you. They're preparing. They don't just get in there and start with you right in that moment.
Yeah.
There's research time. There's follow-up time after they get off the call with you so they can steward you for the next step. There's a time that they put in to learn all this knowledge that probably took them 5 years, 6 months, 10 months that they're about to give to you in a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Most coaching programs be 6 weeks or 12 weeks or 4 weeks. I'm about to give you 4 years worth of information, and now for $7,500, you're starting off with podcast, brand, business. You're starting off with monetization strategies. You're starting off with all this stuff that I didn't necessarily start off with. You're starting off. They probably not even gonna start off with a $25 offer.
Right.
Where you started off.
That's true.
Because they're pretty much gonna be starting almost at the level of where you currently are. And that is the beauty of coaching. I think sometimes we forget about that and we undervalue people, and I just wanna put some respect on that.
Yeah.
You definitely did put a better respect on it. Because I mean, like we have to look at it as like somebody who is like let's say somebody a rookie in the league, and then you're on a team with like a LeBron.
Right.
Like by you being in the locker room with LeBron as a rookie, you get to see LeBron's habits. You get to see LeBron's preparation. You get to see which foot and which shoe he put on first, which sock he put on. You get to see what he's eating, how he's investing in his regimen, and that's what coaching is. Right? These people get to see how you steward your time, how you operate, how you have conversations. Like you're literally in the locker room with these people. And that's also what people have to really understand, because if you didn't get that access, then you would be outside. But now, by you being a part of the community, Now you're getting VIP,
Yeah.
right? So you in the room already, and then even further than that, that person can connect you with other people
Yeah.
that might need your service that you wouldn't have had access to before. And that's also a piece I believe in why we should invest in like coaching, because I believe in investing in your relationships.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like the people that you're spending time with, you're saying that you value their time, you're saying you appreciate them. So you should invest in those relationships. If they look like a coach, or if they look like, you know, you hanging out with people and, you know, you got dinner or whatever it might be, like invest in those relationships.
Yeah.
Let people know that they value.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you'll be able to be like Jonathan Jones, and you can say, and this person right here who went on to do this,
Yeah,
this
right.
person who went on to do this. All these different students and all these different mentees, you'll have testimonials and success stories. I want to say, shout out to you though.
Yeah.
'Cause you got some testimonies.
Yeah.
You roll right past
Yeah,
that. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? You just like this person, just like this person. So I think that's you can coach all day, but if you don't have any fruit, who's successful? Who's getting the transformation?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to say is that if you actually follow this, what we're talking about, you'll have these testimonies. I also want to just say thank you for coming in and talking to us and chatting it up, talking about all these different creative entrepreneurial endeavors that we build businesses around.
Yeah.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate y'all allowing me the opportunity to be able to mind my creative business. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this was dope, man. Y'all professional, top tier. From how you got me on, you booked me to the setup. Y'all laid out the hospitality, everything like that.
Okay.
Everything professional. Yeah, y'all did the thing.
Well, thank you,
So
thank
that's
you,
coming
thank you.
from the podcast mentor
Right,
himself. So he's
exactly.
saying we kind of getting a grade of an A right now.
Yeah, y'all getting a gold star.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen,
Let's
go,
go.
son. Let's go.
Yeah, y'all did it. Y'all did it.
So as we wrap this up, what's one thing, right? You gave a lot of like dope gems and jewels throughout the whole episode, but what's one thing that if like, listen, if y'all don't walk away with nothing else but this one thing, what would that one thing be for our audience?
The one thing would be dope people, they sit on ideas. They sit on gifts. They sit like the idea, the vision, like God put it in them, it's in their mind. It been sitting there. They talk themselves out of it. That's not God giving me that idea. At the end of the day, if you want to start a podcast, great, start a podcast. But if you know God has put on your heart to do something, don't waste no time. Just do it. Live in that uncomfortable space and just do it.
Yeah.
And then do it again.
Yeah.
And then do it again and mess it up. And then do it again.
Right.
Because, for me, I was just telling Shy offline, like we had to buy a new mic for the show because like we're hearing an echo. And I was telling my co-host, I'm like, man, this is so frustrating. But we still showing up and doing it again.
Yeah.
And just doing it again. So at the end of the day, whatever it is God laid on your heart, write the song, drop the poem, write the book, drop the podcast. If y'all know y'all need to get coached by these two, get coached by these two, because they've been in the business, they know the business. I've been seeing Shy do the business. Man, say, y'all, these are some of the best people, not just in the industry, but entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like the way they think, the way they flow. So, man, yeah, whatever God laid on your heart, if it's anything around, music, even entrepreneurship, with them.
Right.
Get with them. Okay. But yeah, that's it. Get it
Right.
going.
Sounds
Get it
like
going.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying, first of all, don't be if you're dope, just do it.
Just do it.
If you're dope, just do it. And then I'm gonna say it again, if you're dope, just do it. Dash Jonathan Jones. If you're dope, just do it. And a lot of dope people sit on good ideas. And then also you were saying basically find you somebody to work with. Get you a coach, get you a mentor.
Yeah.
You saying us, but you know what I'm saying. But we're also saying the same thing to you guys, which is get you a mentor. If
Yeah.
you want to get into podcasting, currently, Ron and I, we're not coaching people on how to podcast. We're doing our podcast and we're coaching people in other areas.
No.
Ron coaches on creative vision. I'm building things out as pertain to software and operations and building up your back end for creative entrepreneurs so you can streamline your business. That's what I'm focusing on, like courses and software and all these types of things and not only that, funding. I'm focused on helping creative entrepreneurs get funding.
Yeah. We need that funding.
So, so with Credit Savant, right, which is available at creditsavant.io, very unshamed, no shame at all. Creativesavant.io. I'm telling you, definitely want to go there if you're interested in getting funding. So those are the things that I'm focusing on. But more so, we're not talking to you about how to do a podcast. We're creating a podcast for you to mind your creative business. But if part of your minding your creative business, if you have something to say, you have something to sell, and you want to add a podcast and model to it, holler at my boy.
Yes.
Mr. John Jones. I'm telling you, get you a coach. I agree with that.
I agree. I agree.
Listen, now I just did a little bit of telling you what to do, but I want to actually make sure I thank you. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Thank you for listening in this entire time, picking up whatever gems that you were able to glean. Go back and watch it again, listen to it again, get that list of 10 different monetizations that he just dropped.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, like, make sure you get something out of it. But we need to get something out of you. I need you to get your mouse or get your fingers, slide over to the like button and just tap that. Just give it a thumbs up. I need you to go ahead and ring the bell. Like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That's all I need. I just need a little something from you. That's it.
That's it.
And as a matter of fact, actually, I need one more thing. I need you. I'm gonna actually tell Ron about it because it's something for you to actually get in fellowship with other and community with other creative entrepreneurs. Tell me about it.
That's joining our Creatives Corner community, where you will receive a newsletter that was going to help you with your strategy, structure, and self-development, right? But not only that, you're also going to be a part of a Facebook community where you're going to be surrounded by other creative entrepreneurs like yourself that you can get motivation, encouragement, accountability, right? And hopefully even networking. Our goal and desire is for y'all to be able to break bread with one another, right? Everybody has different skill sets that we should be able to utilize from the community. We're all on the same path. So why not be a part of that? So if you go to mmcbpodcast.com, that is www.mmcbpodcast.com, you can be a part of that community. And we're looking forward to seeing you within that community. And on that note, I'm going to pass it back to Shy.
Passing it back to me because we end every episode. Don't click off. This is important right here. Because we've been doing all the talking. And you've been doing all the listening. But we want you to have an opportunity to speak as well. So this is the part of this show, part of our episodes where you speak a mantra, right, that we say at the end. So I want you to repeat after me. Like, I want you to literally say it out loud. Everybody's in here, including Jonathan, gonna say it out loud. I want you to say this in affirmation over yourself. Here we go. All it takes is intention,
consistency,
and laser focus
to
mind my creative business. Yeah, straight like that.
And we out.
Peace.